here feels like you are confused about marketing for your small business, again, no wrong answers. I run a marketing agency and I am confused about marketing for my business, which is why I'm not responsible for it. Excellent, okay. And who generally just needs more help with marketing for their small business? Excellent. Okay, and when we're talking about small businesses, are we talking about, hands up, everybody put hands up, are we talking about, now put your hands down if you are if you have more than 100 people that work for you. If you have, put your hand down if you have 50 people that work for you. If you have 25 people that work for you. If you have 10 people that work for you. If you are by yourself.
Oh.
There we go. So, small business is what we are talking about today. Vision Advertising is 10 people. We have been around for 24 years. We are small but mighty. The three ladies in the front of the room are three of my wonderful employees. So, when I talk about small business and small business marketing, I am speaking from a place of really understanding that because we are also a small business. And we work with small businesses, mid-sized businesses, and large businesses all over the continental United States. A little bit about me. Is this going to work? Hopefully.
Uh-oh.
There we go. Very large photo of me. Enjoy. So, I'm the Chief Operating Officer, which I also call myself HBIC. If you know what that means, enjoy the laugh. So, the buck stops with me. I am responsible for strategy for all of our clients. I am also responsible for sales, HR, legal, finance. I work with all of the wonderful people that help us with those things, and if you run a small business, you probably also do all of those things, so you feel my pain, right? Yes, I see a lot of people nodding their heads. Excellent. So you're probably maybe also doing the marketing while you're also wearing the HR hat and the finance hat and the legal hat and all those things, like I would be doing if I didn't have these wonderful ladies who work for me. So this is my contact information. You are always welcome to reach out to me. The reason I also always give out my personal social media handle and our business social media handles is because one of the biggest questions that we always get asked is, what do you do about what you should post on your personal social media versus your business social media? We're not specifically going to talk about that today, but I always like to offer our business up as an example because I think we do a really good job of showing what you can do professionally on a social media platform and then also show who you are on your personal social media platform. So feel free to follow me, feel free to follow our business. We have a bajillion, and that's the technical term, free marketing resources that we always offer on our social media platforms. A little bit about who we are. We are a 100% women-owned and run business. We are certified by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts as a WBE. If you have gone through that certification, I'm sorry. It is challenging. We have also been ranked as a top 10 marketing agency by the Worcester Business Journal for, I believe, six. Yeah. Thank you. 6 years. This is why I have people that work for me. 6 years. Top 50 women-owned business. Lots of experience. You can read it. I'm not going to read the slide to you. Nobody wants that. So, we have been around for 24 years. We were founded in the dorm room of our CEO's Becker college room. No relationship to my last name whatsoever. We had our offices in Worcester for a very long time, and then we outgrew that, like every good small business should. We moved to Westboro, and then the pandemic came, and now we're virtual. So I wear sweatpants to work every day, and it's wonderful. I also recommend that. So when we work with small businesses, we are focused on how can we help those small businesses meet their goals based on their goals, their budget, and their needs. We do not do cookie cutter plans. We do not have drag and drop solutions. We want you to reach your goals based on your needs for who you're trying to reach. So when we're looking at your marketing resources, I want you to win because you want to win. So let's talk about what is the best use of your marketing resources, right? That's why we're all here today. And I'm going to power through 20 that they have an understanding of what a resource is. Not a marketing resource, just a general business resource. Again, no wrong answers. You could have gone to Harvard and gotten your MBA and still not know what a business resource is. Safe space here, people. Okay, who feels like they understand what a marketing resource is? A couple people. Okay, including one of the lovely people who work for me. Would like all three hands to be raised, but that's okay. When you think about the best use of your marketing resources, that's what we're talking about when we're getting the most juice for the squeeze. How can you get the most out of what you're doing? Because you are wearing the HR hat, the legal hat, the hiring and firing hat, the marketing hat, and I need to sell everything, right? So how are you going to get the most out of what you're doing? So that's why we're talking about resources. So let's think about your needs, your goals, and your resources. So your resources are different than somebody else's, and the best use of your resources are going to be different than the person sitting next to you. And I like to be clear about this because you're going to sit down at Easter dinner or Thanksgiving dinner or whatever your religious observance is, or just like a barbecue, and your niece's brother's nephew's cousin is going to say to you, why aren't you on TikTok, right? It always happens. And you're going to be like, I don't know, why aren't I on TikTok? And then you're going to go back to your office by yourself, or your office with your 3 other employees, and be like, well, you should be on TikTok. Except you don't know if you should be on TikTok, right? Because just because your niece's brother's cousin's nephew said so doesn't mean you should be on TikTok. Your needs, your goals, and your resources dictate if you should be on TikTok. I love using TikTok as an example because it's so confusing, right? It doesn't work for everyone, and it works really well for certain people. So, and everyone likes to say you should be on there. And I'm not telling you not to be on there, but I feel like everybody's like, well, you should be on there. You and your goals as a company are going to be very different than somebody else's. What if you're selling a product and it's a B2B, and somebody else is selling a service and it's a B2C, and you're selling to white women in Indiana and somebody else is selling to people of color in Mexico, right? You have different ideal clients, and you're trying to sell in a different kind of way, so your marketing is different, and your needs and your goals are different, which means that where your resources are going is different. And I just like to lay that groundwork so that everybody's on the same page, and you remember that you have to focus in on what you need as a business owner and as a leader, not what your brother's, cousin's, nephew's, whatever says you should be doing, right? So you laser focus in on that North Star of, here's what I should be doing, okay? It makes decision making much easier, and then you can say, no, I don't need to be on TikTok, or yes, I do need to be on TikTok, okay? So, your resources boil down to 3 things, and this is possibly the least sexy thing in all of marketing, even if marketing seems very sexy. It's your time, your money, and the skills you have in your company. And if you are the only person in your company, it is okay because you have many skills. It could be the skills of the people you hire in the future, anything like that. So, it is a 3-prong approach. Your time, your money, and your skills. So, let's think about what you need to determine what the best use of those resources is and how you can get the most out of what you are doing with your marketing. So, part of looking at the money aspect is, do you have a budget? Do you have financial resources, etc.? Looking at time is, How much time do you actually have? Are you working full-time in this business, or is it a side hustle? There is no incorrect answer, no correct answer, right? Only you know this. And what expertise do you or your team have? Maybe somebody on your team is amazing at TikTok. Maybe they have gone viral. Maybe they know how to run a TikTok for business account. That's fantastic. That's a resource. So let's think about time. Most people who run small businesses tend to fall back on time. I'll do that internally. We'll take that on. Our intern can do that. We'll deal with that here. I'm not going to pay for somebody else. And I am not saying this is wrong. I am just saying that most people fall back on time. And I am here to tell you that time is your most valuable resource. It is the only resource you can never get back. It is finite. You can make your money back. If you spend money on something, you can get that money back. You can earn it back. You can sell more. You can do something. You will never get your time back. So if you are spending time on something, you need to be thinking about how much would I be charging for that time, and how much is my time worth? Is this the best use of my time strategically? It could be, absolutely. Again, this is the part where only you know the answer. I don't have that magic answer for you. It is finite. If you spend a day on something, you don't get that day back. If you choose to take your marketing internally and you want somebody who works for you to take it over, that's fine, that's great. But that is time that is not being spent elsewhere. That is time you cannot charge for something, right? That is time that is not being spent on developing your product or service. That is time that is gone, okay? And I know this is often difficult to absorb, but in the future, I want you to hear me in your head when you're like, I'm just gonna take that on. And anybody who leads a business or runs a business is already running and doing 10 million things, and you're exhausted and you're not sleeping and you're stressed, and you're probably like me, drinking the red wine on Sunday night, doing 10 million things anyway, right? Do you really have more time? Probably not, right? So just think about it. And the other part of this is that with your marketing resources, your time, your money, and your expertise, you're usually not just using one. You're using a combination of the three. If you take your marketing internally, if you decide we're going to do that TikTok account, we're going to launch that, that's great, it's within our goals and our budget, etc. Okay, great, so then you're not only using your time, but then you're using expertise. We're going to talk about that in a second. There's always some combination of those three areas that you're using. So let's talk about money. And I want to be clear, this is usually where people have the biggest struggle. And it's usually where people feel like it's your most valuable resource, when actually time is your most valuable resource. You can make your money back. And I am not here pitching spend money. Just so we're clear, ask the women who work for me how I was like, you need to carpool today. Parking is expensive. We are a small business. And $44 is a lot of money, guys. So I am not here sitting like telling everyone, hire an agency for $100,000. No, that is not what I'm saying. What I am saying is you need to think strategically, short-term and long-term, about where your time, your money, and your expertise is going. Don't just fall back on, well, take it all internally, because that time is not going somewhere else. Your money can be made back, and I want you to be thinking about the big feelings you have about money. Oftentimes we don't want to spend money because it's scary, right? If you are selling, if you are in a sales position because you're the only person in your company, or because you're in the business development position, I am sure that you have experienced being on the other side of people having those big feelings about money. And just feeling like, yes, I want to buy that thing, but I have big feelings about that, so I'm not going to spend that money, right? I see a lot of nodding heads, a lot of them. This is my favorite thing to say is, we have some big feelings about money right now. And it's cultural, right? Especially in America. We have big feelings about money. We like to spend it, but we don't like to talk about it. We can have 3 hours about this right now. Internally, I would really put a lot of money on the fact that I bet everybody here has some feelings about money. And that's okay, right? I have feelings about money. We all have feelings about money. When you spend it, you can think about it and make decisions about it, but you need to disconnect the emotions from it. You need to think about it as a resource, the same as the time and the expertise. I'm investing in my company by spending this money and hiring an agency. Again, I'm just using this as an example. Or I'm going to hire a person to do the marketing. I'm going to bring on an intern to do the marketing. I'm going to spend money on advertising. I'm going to invest in paid ads, etc. That's money. You need to take the step back and say, what is the best use of our resources that will help bring our company forward and meet those goals and meet the campaigns that we want to meet? I'll use the example of selling sweaters. We're in New England, it gets cold. Not today, but it gets cold, right? So are we selling sweaters in the winter with some kind of Christmas special? Okay, so let's put some money behind those ads. Okay, well, so what combination of your resources is that using? Well, internally, we're gonna spend some time creating those ads, and then we're gonna put some money behind it. And if we're gonna put money behind it, we're gonna have a budget. We're gonna decide that we're gonna do our Christmas campaign to sell the sweaters, and we're gonna put $200 behind it. Great, that's our budget. And then, if it's successful, because we have determined what success looks like, you always need to define success so you can decide if it worked or it didn't. Then you can say, okay, we're going to put more money behind it or we're not. And that's okay, you've tested it. So try to step away from the emotion that's connected with this. As business leaders, we are spending money in one way or another all the time. Everything's always talking to us about spending money. An example being that when I was in the Expo hall, we just switched from one email marketing provider to another email marketing provider. Is that what I planned to do this morning when I woke up? No, not at all. But everything is always talking to you about spending money, and sometimes you need to sit there and be like, what is the best use of that resource? Is it better for me as a business leader to stick with the email provider I had before because it's what we've always done? Or is it better for me to sit here and go, you know what? $17 is a very low price to pay to see if this is going to be better for my company. And in the long term, $17 times 12 months, will this bring in more money for me? That's a gamble I'm willing to take. And does it increase the happiness of somebody on my staff, right? Another ROI to look at. ROI, return on investment. I don't like to presume that people know things. Okay. So, that's a little premature.
I apologize.
So, your 3 resources, being those 3 areas, I was trying to power through. Because there were like 30 minutes. You have 30 minutes, and you got to get through everything, and I talk a lot. And we are at 20. Yes. Okay, so, when you have the 3 resources, and you're trying to make decisions about what you should be doing, sometimes like what I like to do is write it down, right? Like what time is going to be spent on this, what money is going to be spent on this, and what expertise is going to be spent on this. Oh, I must have skipped over.
Yeah.
I skipped a thing?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
If you want to go further into it, yeah.
Thank you. There we go.
Knowing that we have time.
I appreciate that. Like somebody else who works for me knows what's happening. So we talked about time, we talked about money, expertise. So expertise or skills. Everybody here is good at something because if you weren't, you wouldn't be leading a business, right? And sometimes that's hard to internalize, so I'm just gonna say it to you. You are good at something. I promise. I am good at speaking very loudly. You must be good at something, otherwise you wouldn't have shown up here today to be like, I need support in what I am doing. That is a skill. Knowing when you need help is a skill. Knowing where to find the help, also a skill. There's lots of skills, soft skills and hard skills, in running a business. Everybody who works for you has soft and hard skills. What skills that you already have on staff can you tap into, and what skills can you hire for? It could be an intern, it could be a part-time person, it could be a full-time person. One of the things to think about is if you are hiring, say somebody leaves and you're hiring for that position, you're rehiring, don't just repost the position, reconfigure the position. What do you need now that you didn't need before? What new skill sets could you be hiring for to bring on new expertise, to have new resources to help contribute to your marketing resources? So we'll go back to the TikTok example. Could you hire somebody that could part-time take on as part of their role the marketing for your company, right? If you're hiring an admin, could half their job be spent doing the marketing? I don't know. But you don't have to just repost what was there before. Think creatively. One of the wonderful things about being a small business is the agility to bend and weave. I worked in big business. It was terrible. I hated it, right? The bureaucracy, the red tape, you can't get anything done. I need to ask 3 layers above me to get anything done. I hated it. I am not the person that should ever work in big business. My husband works at a giant company, and every time he tells me a story, I'm just like, I want to just rip all my hair out. The lovely thing about working in a small business, running a small business, owning a small business,